Beyoncé is obviously one of the most amazing entertainers in this world, but she missed out on building a $5 billion empire. Why? Because she launched the wrong products to the right audience, right? Meanwhile, Rihanna, she turned attention to equity with Fenty and changed the game. So what went wrong and how can you avoid the same mistake in your own brand? Well, guess what? This isn't shade. It's a masterclass because Beyoncé has had the brand, the reach, and the trust, but she messed up with the product pricing or positioning. I know this because I built and sold two brands for $128 million, and I'm currently building my watch brand to the $100 million mark, and I also train founders on how to think so they can end up selling their brands. So let's dive into it. Now, this was a big blunder. She launched Ivy Park, and here are the issues that I observed with it. One, there was massive inventory pileups, right? Despite hype and marketing, the products weren't moving off the shelves fast enough. Despite can you imagine how huge Beyoncé is and she couldn't even sell out this? And the response was very, very underwhelming. Only a few fans ended up buying despite a huge, massive fan base and influence, and it ended up severing the partnership that she had with Adidas because the performance was ultimately disappointing. And this is why I tell people, sometimes people think, oh, I need to have a big following, or I need to have a large audience for me to sell. Sometimes the people who have the big following are not even able to generate the revenue that you think of. Why? Because there is an audience disconnect. What they are selling doesn't serve the audience that they have in place, right? So Ivy Park was Beyonce's big move into fashion, backed by Adidas, limited edition drops, and visual hypes. But guess what? The results fell short of expectations, which led to the severance of our partnership with Adidas. She had everything she needed: distribution, the marketing, the hype. But here is what went wrong, right? Psychological mismatch. What Beyoncé built, she focused on exclusivity and aesthetic, creating a high fashion athleisure brand that emphasized perfection and aspiration. The brand projected an image of elite performance and unattainable excellence. But guess what? That's not what our audience wanted. Our fans craved relatability and identity, products that made them feel seen and included rather than intimidated. They wanted emotional accessibility even in affordable products. Guess what? Attention is loud, sales are emotional. She missed the emotion in this. While our brand commanded attention, it didn't connect on the emotional level needed to drive consistent sales. Sometimes the thing that you want ends up becoming the course in your life. She strived for excellence, she strived to become someone of significance, and then she got to the point and she suddenly became unrelatable. And this is an issue with even most creators, right? So if you're a creator and you're watching this, well, guess what? This is an issue that most people face. And that is why she was unable to sell out despite the massive audience size that she had. And if you remember back in the day, there was a story of an influencer that had 2.9 million followers and could barely sell 3 orders. She got just 3 orders for the brand that she built. Now, compared to Beyoncé, Rihanna has been able to build something successful. And this is why she was able to do that. When she launched line of products, she launched with 40 foundation shades, which is a huge range that acknowledges all skin tones, right? And then 2, there was radical inclusion. She built the brand identity around making everyone feel welcome and represented. Like, people wanted to buy from her because it was just inclusive. They felt like finally someone gets us, right? The entire identity behind Fenty was rebelling against the norms, but creating something where other people felt included, right? And it also promoted self-love, right? So it's promoted beauty as enhancement rather than correction or perfection. And this is what Beyoncé missed out on. And then belonging. She created a community where customers felt seen and valued. If you think about it, every time Rihanna does pop-ups, she's there, she's involved, right? How many times have you seen Beyoncé in public? So one person is constantly involving with the community, engaging and getting feedback. The other person is just, aloof. She's not present, right? Rihanna sold belonging while Beyoncé sold aspiration. Fenty Beauty made every customer feel seen and included, creating an emotional connection that translated directly to sales and brand loyalty. So this is where the conflict happened. The product audience mismatch. The core audience of Beyoncé were women, right? Our primary fan base consists of women across multiple generations. There are grandmas, mothers, different people that have been a fan for a long period of time. And then the values, family and femininity. Our image centers on strength, elegance, family bonds, and feminine power. Like, this is literally the people that she speaks to. And then the product choice. She entered a hyper-competitive, trend-heavy category that didn't align with her core brand values. And this is why I say, like, you need to consult with someone when you're launching a product, when you're selling something. You need to have someone who gets it, who understands what it takes to sell. And the issue with most creators is they are very, very good at creating, but they are shitty at understanding business dynamics, right? And that's the mistake that Beyoncé made, right? So the result, product disconnection. The product category failed to resonate with what our audience wanted from our brand. So instead of leveraging our strengths in beauty, elegance, and emotional connection, Beyoncé chose athleisure, a category that didn't naturally extend from our core brand identity. Like, if she decided that she was going to sell something, even in child care, she would have made a lot of money. If she decided she wanted to sell makeup, should have made a lot of money. If she wanted to sell jewelry, should have made a lot of money. If she sold wigs or hair care products, should have made a lot of money, because there are so many people that constantly look at Beyoncé and they're like, oh wow, her hair is always laid, right? She could have made a lot of money, but she missed out on that because she didn't have the right strategy, right? So here are the missed out opportunities that she missed out on. What could have been a $5 billion empire with the right product strategy ended up becoming a failure, right? If she launched something around fragrance and home and she sold candles or scents tied to her music, and image should have made so much money. If she sold something in beauty and skincare like wellness and glamour focused products, she would have made a lot of money. But she did the wrong thing. If Beyoncé had launched beauty, skincare, or home products aligned with her image of elegance and family, she could have built a $1 to $5 billion empire within 5 years. These categories would have been better matched with our audience desire and also our personal brand, right? The product needs to feel like a mirror, not a pedestal. Beyoncé's offerings positioned her on a pedestal rather than reflecting our audience back to themselves. Like, when I was thinking, what exactly do I sell? What do I launch? I thought about it. I was like, okay, this is the journey that I've been on. These are the things that I truly like. And these are things that I can tie back to each other, right? I love supercars. I love watches. And I love being fit. I love being a masculine man. And I looked at it, I'm like, what are the things I can connect together? Who are the audience that follows me the most? As much as I have women following me, I also have a lot of men who follow me. Like, the majority of my audience are men. So what can I create that men can't do without, and they would also be able to relate with? And that's how I came up with Phoenix watches, right? So the distribution difference. While Fenty secured LVMH distribution channels from launch, Ivy Park relied on Adidas' existing network, which is another thing. Like, if you've watched the video I made on Kanye and why Kanye lost his $3 billion empire, you understand how this also plays. Fenty built strong DTC operations with customer data collection, while Ivy Park focused on limited drops, right? So Fenty got all the data from the customers directly, but Ivy Park was only limited to Adidas. Data utilization. Fenty collected shade matching data to improve products, while Ivy Park lacked similar feedback loops. Similar to Kanye, they didn't have access to the data, so they couldn't do anything. Brand depth. Fenty developed long-term brand architecture, while Ivy Park relied on hype cycles. And any brand that is built solely on hype will never be successful, right? So what makes a brand scalable isn't just the name behind it, it's how you distribute it and how many people it makes feel like it was built for them. Fenty's distribution strategy created wider accessibility and deeper customer connections, right? So you must be able to create a connection, you must be able to create a sense of belongingness for people who buy from your brand, and only then will they become apostles of your brand. So this is our $5 billion beauty play. Now, if anybody knows Beyoncé and thinks this would work for her, you might as well introduce her to me, or she could watch this video, right? She could have built something around multi-generational beauty, products serving women of all ages, celebrating beauty across lifespans, right? She could have built something that celebrates her southern roots and ancestral rituals, right? Beauty traditions connecting to Beyoncé's heritage and cultural background. She could have used her brand storytelling to connect her artistic identity with personal values, right? And then omnichannel distribution. She could easily get into Ulta, Sephora, and strong direct-to-consumer channels, but she didn't, right? Imagine if Beyoncé had launched a beauty brand built around these pillars. That's a $5 billion play. That is actually still possible, but it takes understanding what sells, not just what looks powerful, right? Beyoncé built the dream, but she didn't give her audience the tools to live in it. You can't build a castle and just live in isolation. It doesn't work that way. So yes, she launched Cecred, a step in the right direction. Hair care focus. Beyoncé's newer venture, Cecred, targets hair care moving closer to beauty, but still finding its market position. And I believe she's testing the waters, right? The brand is beginning to explore the emotional connection that was missing from Ivy Park. And with this, she's incorporating more personal narrative and heritage elements that resonate with our audience, right? Beyoncé's hair care brand Cecred is only now beginning to test the principles that made Fenty successful. It represents a potential pivot towards products that better align with our audience desires and our personal brand strengths. So here's the lesson for every founder who's watching this video, right? You need to understand product psychology. Know what emotionally drives your audience to purchase, not just what they admire, right? Then you need to focus on building emotional connections. You need to create brands that make customers feel seen, understood, and valued. And then you need to structure scalable offers. Design products and distribution that can grow profitably and sustainably, right? This isn't a hit on Beyoncé. Now, you Beyoncé fans shouldn't come for me. It's a lesson for every founder. Even with the biggest audience, the wrong offer will fall flat. And even without fame, the right offer to the right people will scale like wildfire. So if you're serious about building a brand people obsess over, apply using the link in the description or send me a DM on Instagram with the keyword private. And next, we're cycling back to Rihanna's Fenty empire, the $3 billion case study Beyoncé could have followed, right? So check out this video and you'll be able to understand how Beyoncé could have followed the exact same principles that Rihanna used to build a $3 billion empire. And subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video.